morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC experience. Welcome to summer. Welcome to our Unity and World Religions series, part 1. We have Laurie Shiflett and David DeMario on the platform with us this morning. And all of you are welcome here.
Yes, and happy Father's Day, everybody.
Father's Day. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Woo! Happy Father's Day to all the beautiful fathers out here. I'm in the right place at the right time, I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Come on, let me hear you. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
All of our souls are welcome here. My soul, your soul is welcome here. Say,
My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome.
come on now.
Good morning, SLC. And happy first day of summer. It is the growing season, and it is truly going to be the growing season here at SLC. It's also Father's Day. So could I ask the fathers, please stand up. We want to honor you. Yay. God bless our fathers. And also, good morning, Reverend Christine. So good to see you.
Yeah, good morning, Reverend Rick. Glad to be here. So we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving energy of our community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature. And we know that there is no spot that God is not. And if this is your first time joining us online or in person, we especially welcome you, and we know that you are not here by accident, but by divine appointment. So please silence your electronic devices, and please refrain from photography during the service.
And we're so grateful also to have all the folks online visiting us and being part of this service. Today's daily word is blessing for fathers. And the affirmation is, I celebrate fatherhood and bless all fathers today. Today I bless my father and give thanks for the part he played in my life. I also bless those who showed me fatherly love, who taught and guided me, who led by example by demonstrating the divine attributes of strength and wisdom. The love and support I received from all the father figures of my life helped me become the person I am today. I'm grateful for those special ones who saw my potential and encouraged me to reach high and to pursue my dreams. I am also thankful to them for the encouragement they provided during times of disappointment and discouragement. I bless the world's fathers and pray they know the support and guidance they have so lovingly shared with me. And as Mark Twain said, when I was a boy of 19, my father was such an idiot I couldn't stand to have him around me. But by the time I reached 29, it was amazing how much my father learned in those 10 short years. Today is Blessing for Fathers. Let's go into prayer a moment. Dear Spirit, we bless all the fathers and the fatherly influence that people have had. Thank you for this beautiful summer season, which is the growing season. And we affirm that it will be a growing season for us and for SLC. Thank you for SLC, this incredible spiritual community with such a powerful message given what's going on in this world, not just for Sacramento, but for the world beyond. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen.
Amen.
And we also say our mission statement, it's so much more than boilerplate because it truly reminds us of who we have come here to be. Let's say it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we also say those 5 basic principles of unity. I find that so often when I hit one of the potholes in life, and believe it or not, you can be a great master of Buddha's 4 Noble Truths or whatever, you're still going to be hitting potholes in life. That's part of the deal. But there are ways of getting out of those potholes, and I find that when I can reflect and remember these, the ability to face calamity with serenity is much, much greater. So let's say them together. God is absolute good everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. And we must take action. And there is so much going on around here every day of the week, something which can help you with your spiritual walk. Christine, tell us about some of them.
Well, first of all, there's our Wow Wednesdays, and that starts with the Oneness Prayer Circle with the chaplains at 5:30. And then, of course, there's our community meal at 6. And we ask that if you'd like to join for that, to please RSVP by Monday so that that team knows how much food to prepare. Not a requirement, but it's very helpful. And also for those in the unapologetic manifestation class, reminding about that happening on Wednesday. And then also, we have a wonderful event coming up with Karen Drucker, and we have a video about that.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. So I don't know about you, but I need some peace in my life. Good morning, my favorite church, Spiritual Life Center. It's Karen Drucker coming to you this morning, and I am inviting you to join me for a chanting, singing, silence experience. It's going to be July 17th, starting at 6:30, and I get the honor of singing with some of the most fabulous singers and musicians in your church. I can't wait to do this. And what the night is going to be is just singing and silence and sacred readings. It's just an opportunity for you to go deep and breathe and let go of what the world is going through right now and just be in that sweet place of centeredness. And we do that with music, with readings and silence. So I'm thrilled to be doing this. So again, it's July 17th.
All the information is on the website. And I hope you'll join us. It'll be a really sweet evening, and your soul will be very glad you did this. See you then.
And you can get your tickets in the courtyard.
Wow. I mean, the East Coaster in me says, Karen Drucker's coming to, and then her comments about SLC just totally bowled me over. One of the things which we are also seeing, a lot of things around here are getting sold out very quickly. So please, he who hesitates is lost. Get your Karen Drucker tickets now. While they're still around. Next on the Hit Parade, we are going to be having movie night again. It's going to be July 10th at 7 p.m. right here. We are going to be showing The Way, starring Martin Sheen, a wonderful movie about going through one of the famous pilgrimages in Spain and Portugal. And after the movie, Daniel Thomas, our president of our board, actually has walked a good part of it. He was going to come and talk about it and also show slides on it. It's going to be, I think, a very, very important time. So mark it down, July 10th, movie night. Also, next week, again, part of this series which we're doing on Unity of World Religions, it's not just Sunday talks, it's not just people coming to us. We're doing field trips. And one of the field trips which we're going to be doing next week, we're going to be going to a conservative synagogue, the Mosaic Law Synagogue, in the afternoon on June 28th. It's full, so again, the word act now, as it were. But while that is full, on July 5th, we are going to have Yogesh Sharda from the Brahma Kumaris, a wonderful yogi who is an expert both on meditation, and he is also about an expert on what's going on in neurosciences. It will be a fantastic time, so come on. We're going to be having a lunch after the 11 o'clock service on July 5th, and then we'll get to be with Yogesh, and it really does look like it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event. Also, a reminder for folks who purchased tickets for the Soul Light Connection House concert at Tom and Judy Chrisman's home at last year's gala. That concert is happening on Friday, July 26th. June 26th. Thank you. Just testing you. If you have further questions, please call Paula Mandella or, speak to her. Her email address, pmandella@slcworld.org. And also, my goodness, yesterday was such a fantastic art show in honor of Faith and Mike Moran, but done for Brenda Bowles. It was a wonderful art show. After this service, you can go into the annex. There are some pictures which were not sold and all that. Go in, and even if you were there yesterday, go in and look. It's a wonderful display. Pictures are being sold. We were so glad to be able to get some of my favorite. I got my favorite Brenda Bowles painting, put it on the wall. I have to email Brenda and show it where it is, but it's wonderful, and a lot of the money is also coming back to SLC. And now we have a community update with Ellen Springwind about Women of Spirit. Thank you, Ellen.
Good morning, everyone. So good to see you all. So I have been privileged to facilitate Women of Spirit for the last 8 years. We meet the first Saturday of every month on a love offering basis here in the sanctuary. And our mission statement is, Women of Spirit provides a safe environment for all women who wish to connect in a deeper way, regardless of religious affiliations. We acknowledge that we are both teacher and student. Together we transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. For me, it has been a pleasure and a great learning experience to connect with our wise and insightful speakers and to hold sacred space for our group. We begin each meeting with a welcome circle and end with a closing circle, connecting our hearts and sending our love and healing energy to our community and the larger world. We have a variety of interactive awakening experiences, including movement like Tai Chi and guided dance, meditation, shamanic journeying, drum circles, sacred art processes, sound healing, conscious conversations about the divine feminine, reclaiming our bodies and honoring all stages of life. We learn emotional healing techniques and so much more. And here are a few comments I've received from some of our members regarding Women of Spirit. One member says, "The program of presenters is great. I also enjoy women's shares and interactions with them. Each woman is truly special, and it becomes apparent at Women of Spirit." Another member says, "When I experience all of the amazing knowledge and wisdom that is shared during the Women of Spirit gatherings, I'm gratified to learn and share with other women. My heart opens, and I connect with so much more than I entered with." And lastly, Women of Spirit is a wonderful, welcoming space where women benefit by gathering in a circle of belonging and trust. We are blessed with a rich variety of speakers whose insights broaden understanding and inspire personal growth. Our beautiful connection with each other fosters a sense of belonging, encouragement, and mutual support. Women of Spirit enriches my spiritual journey and helps me to navigate life's challenges with greater purpose, wisdom, and grace. For me, Women of Spirit inspires me and it uplifts me and gives me tools for navigating these times, and it opens our hearts and minds. I truly feel we're contributing to the greater understanding, evolution, and peace and healing of our planet. We hope you will join us. If you're interested in learning more, I'm happy to connect with you after our service, and you're welcome to sign up and meet you sometime soon. Thank you all for listening.
You know, as a man, I haven't gone to too many Women of Spirit meetings, but I have to tell you, Kathy Gibson, who a lot of times has been at Women of Spirit, was at the Wednesday Wow and led it on dance and movement. Oh my goodness, it was incredible. If this is what goes on at Women of Spirit, maybe I'll buy a dress or something. But I mean, it was wonderful, and it speaks highly to the quality of what Women of Spirit are doing.
Okay. Thank you. So if you are watching us online, you can go to slcworld.org, click on the Connect button, and fill out the card. And this will let us know that you're watching us, and we can also keep you up to date on the happenings at SLC. So for those of you here in person today, in a moment, we will ask you to raise your hand and give you a welcome card.
Well, that comes at the end of the service, but we have prayer chaplains will be out in the courtyard to meet with and pray with you one-on-one after that service. And also, we come here for so many reasons. One of them is for connection. And so let's give that connection to each other right now.
I just do what I'm told.
Hey there. God is my source. God is my power, yeah. Look out now. God gives me everything I need.
So I give thanks for all my blessings.
Come on, get it.
God gives me everything I need. Woo! God is my source. gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need.
He gives me everything, and I give thanks
For all my
for
blessings.
all my blessings.
God gives me
Everything I need.
God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Oh, yes. All right. So as we settle into our chairs and prepare for the meditative portion of our service, let's begin by speaking our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. We're going to sing this beautiful chant by Richard Burdick. There is no you. There is no me. There's only God that we can see.
There is no you. There is no me. There's only God that I can see. There is no you. There is no me. There's only God that I can see. There is no us. There is no them. There's only God. Amen. There is no us. There is no them. There's only God. Amen. There is no you. There is no me. There's only God that I can see. There is no you. There is no me. There's only God that I can see. There is no us. There is no them. There's only God. Amen. There is no
invite you to find a comfortable position, allowing your spine to be tall and relaxed. And if you'd like, gently close your eyes and begin to slow your breathing. Taking a long, slow breath in through your nose and exhaling completely. One more time, breathing in peace and breathing out everything that no longer serves you. And as your body relaxes, bring your awareness into this present moment. And become aware of the space around your body. Feel yourself resting in the field of infinite possibility. Today, on Father's Day, we honor the sacred masculine aspect of the divine, not merely as a person, but as a universal energy that lives within all beings. This divine masculine energy is strength without force, presence without control, wisdom without judgment, protection without fear. It is the steady, loving consciousness that creates order, direction, and purpose. Bring your awareness to the center of your heart and imagine a radiant golden light glowing there. With every breath, this light grows brighter. And as you breathe into your heart, silently say, I open myself to divine intelligence. And feel your heart expanding. Now imagine this golden light rising through your chest, your throat, and into your mind. You may sense your heart and brain becoming coherent and connected. The wisdom of your heart and the clarity of your mind are now working together as one. In this elevated state, become aware of the divine masculine qualities within you. You may feel unwavering courage, clear intention, integrity, responsibility. Feel the power to stand firmly in truth while remaining deeply compassionate. And allow these qualities to awaken within every cell of your body. And if you wish, bring to mind a father, grandfather, mentor, or teacher, someone who embodied even a glimpse of these sacred qualities, and see them surrounded by light, and silently offer gratitude for the gifts they brought into your life. And if there has been pain, absence, disappointment, or misunderstanding, allow yourself to release it now. For in the presence of divine love, all experiences can become opportunities for growth. Breathe deeply and imagine a greater presence standing behind all fathers and all masculine expressions throughout history. a loving divine presence, a source of wisdom, a source of protection, a source of conscious creation. And feel yourself connected to this infinite source now. Move beyond your past. Move beyond any limitations and become aware of yourself as pure consciousness. Who am I when I am connected to the highest expression of divine love? Who am I when I embody wisdom, strength, and compassion? Rest now as you allow the answers to come to you in the silence. I invite you to feel gratitude as though this highest version of yourself already exists. Feel gratitude as though divine wisdom is already guiding every step. And let that gratitude expand through your heart. Allow it to radiate outward to your family, your ancestors, your community, and the world. And silently repeat, I honor the divine masculine within. I honor the sacred fathers, teachers, and guides who have helped shape humanity. I choose strength guided by love. I choose wisdom guided by compassion. I choose to become the highest expression of my divine nature. Take one final deep breath and feel connected to the infinite field of love and intelligence. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room.
Then I am still and waiting You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
You raise me up. Recently, one of you came to me and told me, he said, Reverend Rick, I have a diagnosis of cancer and it's serious. And then this person said to me, you know, I'm okay, but I don't know how people who don't have a spiritual foundation get through things like this. You raise me up. Thank you, David. Thank you, Laurie. And thank you for our incredible music team. Thank you, Reverend Christine, for a wonderful meditation. I'm so grateful to have Reverend Christine back on the platform. Well, today there is a harmonic convergence between four forces and events. It's Father's Day. At SLC, we've just started a new series on unity in world religions. It is summer, the growing season, and I affirm that this summer is really going to be the growing season at SLC. And lastly, Reverend Lisa and I have sort of snuck in another series on New Thought pioneers. I can't think of a better way of celebrating these harmonic convergences than by talking about Charles Fillmore, who really was the eclectic father of the unity movement. I admit it, I'm a Charles Fillmore fanboy. It's not easy reading, but it's worthwhile, truly worthwhile reading. When I came to Unity back in the 1980s, I first walked into a Unity church. I felt like was truly coming home. And I'm sure many of you, I see heads nodding, had that same feeling. I am a lover of spirituality, but not just Judeo-Christian spirituality. I am a lover of science, but not just the science of over a century ago. I am the lover of the bold speculations that leading scientists are now making about the future and the past. I am a lover of the head, but I'm also a lover of the heart. I am a lover of the right to insist on changing my mind. I refuse to walk into a church and be told to check my brains at the door. And I bet almost all of you cherish these things. You know, Reverend Michael Moran, the co-founder of SLC, said that we SLCers tend to be mavericks, misfits, and mystics. Now, I know some of us like the mavericks and mystics, well, the misfits, but nevertheless, and I heard, and one of you came up to me and told me another wonderful Michael Moran quote. Michael used to say SLC was the place where you come to get your answers questioned. You know, but nevertheless, I believe that Charles Fillmore really filled the bill on all of the above. And I think it is so fitting about him to talk about him on both Father's Day and on the start of our voyage of unity and world religions. And also looking at these New Thought pioneers. Reverend Lisa, I thought, started off with a wonderful talk about Phineas Quimby, one of the early pioneers of New Thought. I talked about Myrtle Fillmore. Then a few weeks ago, I talked about Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teachers. And now we're talking about Charles Fillmore. In a few weeks, I want to talk about William James, who many thought was the father of American psychology, who really in many ways put New Thought on the map. The reason to do this is not to give you a history lesson, although I think some history is important to learn. But I truly believe that these New Thought pioneers had qualities and nimble minds that we need today to get through the serious challenges that we are currently facing. Charles Fillmore, talk about nimble minds. He died in 1948, made his transition in 1948, but his last book, and if we could go to the first slide, his last book was published the year he died, was called The Atom-Smashing Power of Mind, and I think it's one of the best books he ever wrote. I mean, he was right in there with the latest of what was going on scientifically then. If Charles Fillmore were alive today, he'd be all over artificial intelligence and the latest stuff in neurosciences. Charles is in many ways, such a modern thinker, but believe it or not, you know, he was born in 1854, before the American Civil War. And he was born in, if we could go to the next slide, he was born in St. Cloud, Minnesota, northwest of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I got to tell you, when it was February, and I knew I was going to be graduating and ordained in June, a congregation in Minnesota it was a wonderful congregation. They were very interested in me, and I was interested in coming. But it was February, and I thought, my God, if you can't hack winters in Kansas City, you have no right to go applying for a job in Minnesota. So Charles's father was again, this is the time period, he was a trader with a local Ojibwe tribe. We go to the next slide. This is a picture of the Ojibways taken in the 1800s. The Ojibwe is one of the largest confederations of Native American tribes, both in the United States and also in Canada. And speaking of cold winters, this had an impact on Charles. If we go to the next one, picture of, I guess, skating and other winter activities. Now, this is very, remember It's a Wonderful Life starring Jimmy Stewart? And in the early part, he's a young kid, and he's going down, I think he's sliding down this frozen hill and onto a pond, and he lands up going through or the ice breaks or whatever it was, and he loses hearing. I mean, he goes through a real skating accident. Well, Charles went through a very similar experience. His hip fractured, it infected. I mean, this is way before antibiotics. It's a miracle that, he lived through all this. But his, not only a hip, but he needed shoes which sort of equaled, because one foot wound up being much longer than, the other, and he needed shoes to balance and everything. Well, his parents said back in those days, it's a one-room schoolhouse 20 miles away. You're not going to school and all that. Well, Charles, being the entrepreneur that he was even as a kid, he found out that one of his friends was being homeschooled. So he went to the mother and said, if you're homeschooling your son, could I join and be homeschooled with you too? And the mother said, yeah, come on, I'll do that. Now, interesting, and this is going to be important with the linkage with Myrtle Fillmore. This mother, again, how many people went to college, male, female back then? Almost, very low percentage. And women going to college, even, almost zero. But this mother had gone to, there was a program in Oberlin University, one of the few in that neck of the woods, which educated women. It was a great books course, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Shakespeare, Descartes, on and on. And she had gone to it, and that's what she was teaching her son, and that is what she taught Charles Fillmore. Now, remember, Myrtle Fillmore went to the same Oberlin school and had that same program. So when Charles and Myrtle met, they had that Oberlin, as it were, connection and that love of great books, and that was the first thing that really drew them in. So Charles grows up. If we go to the next picture, here's Charles as a young man. There he is, love his tie. The first time, I've appeared several times on the Today Show, and the first time I was walking down the hall, and in comes Willard Scott, and I was wearing a red tie. He looked at me and said, love that power tie. And it just, kept love that tie, Charles. Now, Charles was not anti-spirituality by any stretch of the imagination. But if the truth be told, the first two things on his bucket list, one was to get rich, and the second was to get rich quickly. So, and again, not anti-spirituality. He goes to Denison, Texas, and Myrtle winds up also in Denison, Texas, because of tuberculosis. They said, you need to go to a better place for your lungs and all that. So they meet in Denison, Texas. They get together and court. Next thing you know, they're married. Now, Charles has this idea in terms of getting rich quick, to form a small company which will go into real estate speculation and also into silver speculation. He formed a real estate business with the brother of Nona Brooks. Nona Brooks was the founder of the Church of Divine Science, another New Thought branch. Probably the most famous minister in that branch was Emmett Fox, the great Emmett Fox. Emmett Fox's church grew so much in New York that what they essentially did, they rented Carnegie Hall, and you wanted to see Emmett Fox on a Sunday, you went to Carnegie Hall. So anyway, now the idea is going to on both land and this was really the Wild West. I mean, they traipsed around. It was really the Wild West in those days, and in those days, the U.S. dollar was, put my economist's hat on, it was backed by gold. Nowadays, I take out when I taught at college, I would take a dollar bill and hold it out. What's backing this dollar? People, gold. I said, no, actually, nothing's backing the dollar. The U.S. dollar is the largest faith-based initiative on the planet. But Charles realized very early that probably the possibility of silver being, to go to a gold and silver both backing was probably not going to go through. If it's not going to go through, silver's not going to rise the way he thought it was. This Far West excursion is not the way to go. But he starts looking at Kansas City. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they can go. Well, Kansas City is really starting to boom, so they go to Kansas City. At this place, Charles is very successful, and also they have children, and things are going along very finely, except for Myrtle's tuberculosis. Finally, doctors say to her, there's nothing more we can do for you. Science has done everything it can of the day. And unfortunately, you're probably going to die in 6 months. So it was on this, with this news that Myrtle and Charles went to a lecture given by a professor, W.E.B. Weeks. E.B. Weeks was a student of Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teacher. And it was at that Myrtle powerful transformation. She hears you are a child of God and therefore do not inherit sickness. She hears basic New Thought principles. Whoa, she comes out of that lecture with spiritual healing. It took 3 years of hard prayer work and a lot of other before the physical cure came, but it did it 3 years. Myrtle died in 1931, and it had absolutely nothing to do with tuberculosis. And the interesting thing is, both of them, both Charles and Myrtle were at the lecture. It was a life-transforming experience for Myrtle. Charles, we have absolutely no evidence that it did anything for him. It sort of went in one ear and right out the other, And I point this because you never know how long it's going to take for spiritual seeds to grow. I wish I could go back. One of my Sunday school teachers, Mrs. Salita, oh my God, I mean, and I've written prayer letters to her and power of two-way prayer and written to her, even though she's made her transition many years ago. It took, 15, 16 years before what she planted, really spurred it. So you never know when it's going to take. So Myrtle is now recovered. This was a sickly lady on death's door. I mean, people are coming to her. How did you do it? And that's, when we are really shining this, we don't need to get bicycles and dress up in suits and, people will come to you. They'll say, my God, if you had faced this 5 years ago, you would have been a fruitcake. And now you're facing calamity with serenity. How are you doing this? They'll come to you. And so people are coming to Myrtle, and Myrtle's saying, come on in. And they're coming into her house, into her parlor. And this is the start of Silent Unity, that great 24/7 prayer beacon. She's explaining these principles to them, and many of them are recovering. Now, Charles, a man of business and science, is seeing this. He cannot deny his wife is healing. He can't deny the healing which he is seeing and the spiritual growth. I mean, people who were wacko burgers are now, are now forming sanely. And so how's this happening? So Charles says, and his words, I'm going directly to headquarters to see whether there's anything about this. And this is when Charles started going into the silence. And lo and behold, he is blown away by finding that, wow, there really is a beyond that is within. The material world is really not the end all and be all. These spiritual principles, you want to talk about pragmatism, these spiritual principles work, and they work when the rubber meets the road. Whoa. And so then Charles also experienced healing. It's not as famous as Myrtle's, but the hip healed. The thing about the shoes and all that, the legs evened out. He didn't need lifts in his. He didn't need lifts in his shoes. Myrtle and Charles write a compact, and it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about Judaism next week. Judaism, a lot is about covenants and contracts and compacts. They wrote one where they wanted to teach this stuff. They became. Thank you, W.E.B. Weeks, but we want to go to Emma Curtis Hopkins. They start studying under Emma, and they very much like Emma. Emma didn't believe it. She said the last thing the world needs is another denomination. And so she was the teacher of teachers. And all these branches of New Thought founded mostly from people who studied with her, but she didn't herself found one. The Fillmores were very same way. They weren't interested in founding a denomination. They wanted this to be first a prayer, teaching prayer techniques, prayer at the heart and center of the unity movement, and next, education. Education, that's what they wanted to do. But what happened was, and my first church where I was a minister was Tulsa, Oklahoma, living on Tulsa time, and what happened, and Tulsa's one of the oldest unity churches or centers around. What happened was essentially two people studied with the Fillmores. They came back from Kansas City. They started a home study group in their house. It grew like Topsy. The next thing you know, they're renting a building. The next thing you know, they own the building. I mean, you have a de facto church, whether you like it or not. You might not call it that, but you have a spiritual center. And this is happening all over the place with the Fillmores. And so, because the original idea of the Fillmores was, and their original services were at 4 in the afternoon on a Sunday. The idea was, if you're a Methodist, go to your Methodist church in the morning. If you're Episcopalian, go to your Episcopalian church. If you're Catholic, go to Mass. If you're Jewish, go to your synagogue. And then at 4:30, after all this is done, come, and we'll have served tea and all that, and we'll teach these principles. So it was not to form a denomination, but the next thing you knew, in essence, they had a denomination on their hands. Out of that came unity. Then you have to have spiritual leaders. How do you qualify them? How do you educate them? And they formed vast schools of correspondence schools and things like that. The other thing which I really admire about the Fillmores, and they did this before. You would say, well, they're rich, so they followed these principles when they were down and out. Love offerings. They did not copyright their work. I mean, they just wanted to get it out. And the other, which I just so love, they met a woman called Dr. Emily Cady. Oh my goodness. Can this Emily Cady write? And she has these let's put these chapters together, lessons and truth. I mean, most people, let's think about it. You're out of this is coming a spiritual movement. The central text has to be by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. That's not what they were. Emily Cady has a great text, Lessons in Truth. I mean, back in the 1980s, the first book I was, What's Unity? And I'm sure I see head shaking. You were given Lessons in Truth. Now, a lot of times we're given Reverend Ellen Davenport's 5 Unity Principles. But, I mean, they I mean, there wasn't ego in this. So the next thing, tremendous success, growth. The next, they have it was downtown Kansas City and Tracy Street. Charles gets the idea, why don't we go to this place called Lee Summit outside of Kansas City, which has no, it's just bucolic or whatever. We'll form a village there. Out comes Unity Village. An incredible spiritual oasis to this day. When Charles was in his 90s, he was in his 90s, the quote I just love is, "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do what is mine to do." As I said, well into his 90s, made his transition in 1948. Now, what I would like to do is take a few takeaways. I'm going to take 7. Nothing magical about 7, but in many spiritual traditions, 7 is seen as a, measure of completeness. And also, Mark Twain said that nobody was ever saved by a sermon which went over 20 minutes, so limits. The first big takeaway, which I would give about Charles, he was really interested in people's spiritual evolution. He was not so much interested in pushing his stuff on. He was more interested in drawing out of them that divine spark that is inside of them. A famous story about this is Charles is teaching a class, and he says, asks a young man in the class, he says, "What do you think about this?" And the guy picks up a book, and he says, "Well, Charles Fillmore on page 93 says," Charles says, "I could care less what Charles Fillmore thinks about this. What do you think about this?" And he would so often say to people, test this stuff out. Just because it comes out of my mouth, don't accept it as gospel truth. Test it. Does it work for you? Does it work? If it doesn't, put it over here. Maybe it will work in the future. If it don't work now, but test it, test it, test it. And Charles also said, "I demand the right to change my mind." Again, putting my economist hat on a minute, one of my favorite economists from the 20th century was John Maynard Keynes, who was probably the most influential economist of the 20th century. One time, he was giving a lecture, and at the end, the Q&A period, and somebody says, "Dr. Keynes, that's what you just told us is exactly opposite of what you told us 10 years ago." Keynes looked at him and said, "When the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do?" Reverend Ellen Davenport in 5 Unity Principles, she suggests every 10 years. I suggest more. Do it every 2 years. Sit down and start journaling. What do you really believe about God? What do you really about spiritual? What do you believe about these spiritual, principles? And be open to change. What you believe 10 years ago. I mean, for example, I am now a big believer in two-way prayer, which 10 years ago probably wouldn't have been. I mean, and if you're not seeing change, maybe you're not spiritually growing. But that evolution of that spiritual consciousness within you, Charles was so much about. Second, metaphysical interpretation. I mean, in an era of I was going to say back then, but oh my God, fundamentalism today. Let's be real. I mean, that something may not be literally true, but when you start applying metaphysics to it, metaphysical interpretation, it is so powerful. And we're going to be doing this unity in world religions. For example, when we get to Islam, I want to talk, for example, about Muhammad's night ride, which is in both the Quran and also in the Hadith. The Hadith is stories about, it's almost right up there with the Quran and Islam. The Hadith is stories about Muhammad and the early pioneers of Islam. But in it is the night ride, and he gets on something called a buraq, and he flies in the air, and he goes to Jerusalem, and he goes up to the 7th heaven, and then he comes down, and all. I mean, literally, you read it, and on the literal level, it sounds like a bunch of hooey and nonsense. But when you start reading it metaphysically, about Muhammad's night ride, it is one of the most beautiful things that has ever been written about spiritual development, spiritual transformation, and that progress that we can make. The power of metaphysical interpretation. The other, and this is not mentioned so much nowadays, but the Fillmores really did believe it. It was called Mayutics. Mayutics means midwifery. In other words, you ask questions. You ask questions, and again, Michael Moran, come to SLC to have your answers questioned, and your answers will probably lead to more questions, not solving it leads to more questions. Charles would do this often, why did the Israelites wander for 40 years? Well, okay, you think you understand that? Well, then these Canaanite tribes, what were they like? What do they metaphysically represent? And the next thing you know, out of that came the Metaphysical Dictionary, which a wonderful source, which Charles really put together. The fourth, which this is going to strike some of you, but Charles's attitude towards new technology and marketing. I mean, again, we were, Unity was, some would say, was the first we were the first religious broadcasters. Some would say, if not the first, we were one of the first. They bought a very powerful AM radio station. And Charles, I mean, it was really, and it was, to the point of, it was AM, so it bounces off the ionosphere. So it bounced off the ionosphere. It landed in certain parts of Africa and not others. One of them was Nigeria. So if you go to a Unity International conference, a lot of times you'll see delegates from Nigeria dressed up in all these colorful. Look at the ionosphere bounce that way. The other, my youngest son was so shocked one time. I showed him a picture of Charles Fillmore. He's in his underwear because the studio was so hot, this was so, and he would be there and it would just heat up and he'd take off his clothing and again, it was radio, not television. So, I mean, but that use of technology and also for Charles, marketing was not a dirty word. I don't know about you. I am so tired that Unity and New Thought institutions are so often the best kept secret in a town. I mean, for example, we did a survey recently, and we reported this to you, about one of the most powerful in market research is something called a Net Promoter Score. It really shows you the strength of your brand and all that. You ask, on a 10-point scale, how likely are you to recommend this toothbrush or whatever. How likely are you to recommend SLC to blah, blah, blah? And you take the very strong supporters and you minus out the very small, the detractors. Over my dead body would I recommend SLC. And you subtract out and you come out with what's called a net promoter score. You don't even count the mushy middle, they're not, you don't forget them. So it's the advocates, the detractors, you melt that out. Our net promoter score is like 88, 89, between there. I mean, my goodness, Stanford University is the gold standard of net promoter scores, and they're at 93. They're at 93. We are right there with Apple. We are, quite frankly, sitting on gold, and we haven't figured out how to really mine this yet. But it is and I'm hoping down the road, in terms of marketing, we just this week had a wonderful meeting about, social media and getting stuff on Instagram and things like that, and we are, I think, are so sitting on gold, which we haven't mined yet, but it's there. It honestly, truly, when you're almost touching Stanford University, you are sitting on gold, and I would the line I would give to Jesus, where Jesus said, "The fields are ripe and ready for harvest." There, in the last 4 or 5 years, for a long time, people, do go to church and all that. It's been falling like a stone. But for the last 4 or 5 years, it has actually shown increases. And interestingly, increases among young men and women, not just, aged baby boomers or whatever. I mean, it's the spiritual interest of younger folks and younger families is really there. And the interesting thing is, so many times the values that they feel so resonate with what SLC and places like SLC have to offer. So I truly, I think this part of Charles Fillmore is going to be so useful for us, because I agree. I think Jesus hit the nail on the head. The fields are ripe and ready for harvest. Next, Charles so much emphasized the beyond that is within, that reality which is beyond the material world, that our thoughts really do matter, divine mind. This is not goofy dust. This is real power. This is what really, honestly, truly can get us through those challenges which we face in life. Sixth, Charles really believed in interfaith. I mean, this was a period where it was hard to get Hindu documents and Buddhist translations and all that. And he really studied and got them. And he saw so clearly the power of interfaith, of looking beyond just Judeo-Christian Christian scriptures. And I think that's another strength which this community truly does have. Lastly, seventh, we are, and I've said this before, I don't think there's any way of getting around it. We truly are going through, I believe, a 4-step. Progress is always 5 steps forward, 4 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps. We are going through a 4-step back period, and it's not just the United States. It's a lot of other, places. If I, again, more time, bring up economics. Lessons which everybody thought we learned coming out of the Treaty of Versailles from World War I, what was done during the Great Depression, beggar thy neighbor, and a lot of lessons which we thought we had learned. I mean, my God, it's like we're making the same, in so many cases, making the same mistakes all over again. And I think you could go to other areas. So we're in a 4-step back period. But Charles understood that these 4-step back periods can be some of the most times of the most creative thinking, the most creative. When the bovine to quote General Schwarzkopf, when the bovine scatology hits the fan, that a lot of times can be the period of the most creative thought. Let me give you an example. What was the period where unity showed its greatest growth? its greatest growth. It was during the Great Depression in the 1930s, when it looked like everything was going to hell in a handbasket. That was a time of tremendous growth for Unity. And so even though we are in, I would say, a four-step back period, I think we can learn from Charles Fillmore that how we can link up with this creative thought that is coming out of this this period. One of my favorite Charles Fillmore stories is about James Dillett Freeman. James Dillett Freeman, poet laureate of Unity. We're going to be singing we say the prayer for protection. That was what he wrote and everything. No other poet has his poems left on the moon. And John James Dillett Freeman had it twice. Well, anyway, James Dillett Freeman was a teenager, pimply teenagers, and he's invited to speak at a Wednesday prayer session, midweek prayer session. And Charles hears James Dillett Freeman. Whoa. And Charles is just blown away by this. And he said, we have to see that this guy gets nurtured and what he needs. Charles Fillmore met James Dillett Freeman, as he so often met people, by seeing the divine possibility already present in them and giving it a place to unfold. May we do the same. Next week, after the 11 o'clock service, we are going to have a wonderful birthday party for Lynn Orion. Lynn Orion, many of you remember, she's now turning 90. And we're going to be celebrating. We're going to be celebrating after the 11 o'clock service. But I would say to you, we don't have to, like Charles, wait to our 90s to sizzle with zeal and enthusiastically spring forth with a mighty faith to do what we truly believe Spirit is calling us to do. And to remember, the fields are ripe and ready for harvest. Thank you, and God bless. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Rick. So next week, Unity and World Religions, focusing on Judaism with Reverend Rick. And our music will be by Ann Roach, Larry Shiflett, Becky McPhee, and Soul Light Connection, also with Catherine Mandella. And this is going to sound like deja vu to you, but if you're watching us online, you can go to slcworld.org and click on the Connect button and fill out the card. This will let us know that you're watching, and we can also keep you informed about the happenings at SLC. And for those of you here in person today, in a moment we ask you to raise your hand, and we'll give you a welcome card to fill out and take to the welcome table in the courtyard, and also a chalet that you can wear so we can recognize you and welcome you individually. So if you're here for the first time, if you could please raise your hand. Any newcomers, welcome. Yeah. And one up front here. Yes. Awesome. And also for our offering, you have an opportunity to help support Spiritual Life Center. You can text SLC Love to 44321. Use the QR code, which takes you to the button, a donate button on our website, or go directly to our website and click on the donate button. You can also mail in your love offering, and if you're online and want to spread this consciousness, please do by clicking like, comment, share, or subscribe. And so now, if you'd like to say our offering blessing with me. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers. Only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am, because you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. It's love so undeniable, I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable, I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still and you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways.
Dear Spirit, thank you for all the prayers in our prayer box and prayers on people's hearts. Help them to know that spiritual power which can help them overcome any challenge that they may face. Thank you for all the investments that are made in this ministry in terms of time, treasure, and talent. For all of this, we say thank you and amen and amen. Now, we're going to say the prayer for protection, that James Dillard Freeman prayer. Then we will sing the peace song. There's going to be a wonderful postlude. But then please join us in the courtyard for fellowship. But don't forget Brenda Bowles' art exhibit, which is in the annex. Go see them. It's wonderful pictures. So let's say that prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now the peace song.
Peace